In August 2025, there was a new Facebook update that tanked most ad accounts, and I haven't heard anybody in the info space talk about it, so I thought, why not do it here? Why not show you what it is, how you can adapt to it, and what to do from here? If you don't know me, my name is Gustav. I run ads and do marketing for some of the biggest names in the coaching space, like Soegu, Andy Sultan, Tristan Social, Vincent. A lot of guys making upwards of 500K a month. So let me walk you through exactly what to do from here and how you can adapt to it and actually make your ads more profitable. So first of all, what is GEM? GEM is Meta's new brain for ads. It's called Generative Ads Model, and I just make a shortcut for it as GEM. So it's basically the engine deciding what gets shown to whom and when. Before, Meta picked the single best performing creative and pushed it to everyone, and now we're left alone, questioning, so what the fuck do we do from here? The biggest shift here is that GEM watches how users interact with your ads, not just which wins. So we sequence ads here. Sequence is the biggest word you should take away from this video. So GEM reads the user. Okay, this is very important to notice as well. So it looks at who the user is, what they've watched the last week, how they behave across Instagram, social, Messenger, WhatsApp, and so on, like where people have buying decisions from Meta, and then what order of ads usually makes them buy and which message speaks to their persona. So then it decides the sequence each user needs to see. So you have the user and you have the buying decision. Everything in between is either your ads or Meta's algorithm. And this is just a showcase of how it could be done. This is a sequence of 3 ads. This could be that GEM looks at the user and says, okay, this is how they normally interact. We show them first a curiosity, we educate them with ad 2, and then we make the offer. So it basically knows the customer before it shows ads to them. It's pretty fucking insane. So Meta thinks, like this. So show the next best ad for this user based on everything they've done before. So the big shift here is you need to stop building single ads and you need to build an entire funnel or sequence, as I also refer to, for your core avatar, because it's rare a customer buys because of one ad. Okay. So just like we go back here, this is a little sequence. Sometimes it can be even more. That's why we push creative volume as well. So we now deliver as funnels. So like, what is the first touch point we want them to see? And then like, what can we educate them on and sell them on in like the funnel? So that's how I see ads now when I deliver concepts for my clients and consult people. It's like, how can we make funnels or sequences towards this core avatar? So the ads a customer needs to see is usually one of these 6. So it's either like curiosity, it's either a problem to solution, it's either a education, better than competitors, social proof, or reviews, and the offer. So these are like the 6 main components that I usually write from. Of course, there's more, but these are just the main ones that I'd like for you to note and take from here. So the 5 buyers inside every avatar. So now, we want to write towards an avatar, okay? Let's say that you are a fat loss coach. An avatar could be, people who lose weight and gain it again, a regain loop. That could be an avatar. Okay, how can we create curiosity for them? How can we pinpoint their problem and come with a solution? How can we educate? You know what I'm saying? And inside these avatars, there's always like 5 sub avatars or sub buyers. That's what I should refer to. So let's say we have the regain loop avatar. There's always somebody skeptic. There's already somebody researching. There's always somebody like being impulsive. There's always somebody being really emotional. And then there's the social bias as well. So you can see here, it's like skeptic needs proof. So that could be the 5th one here. The researcher needs education. That's his 3rd one. The impulse buyer, you show them the offer. So that could be here, the 6th one, or I could also be, for the curiosity or the problem to solution. Then we have the emotional buyer. We show them the transformation. So that could be like 2, it could be 4, it could be 5 or 6. And then we have the social buyer and we just show them testimonials. And we could also show them like, why are you better than competitors? And like polarize your offer towards a more positive standpoint. So first you need to build your avatar and not just random ads and hope, because we can basically throw hope out the window and know exactly how we can actually sequence these ads and make it to our favor, because knowing how the updates work behind the ads is what makes or breaks a ad setup for a coaching business, at least also for e-commerce, lead gen, and so on. But this is just my main point, and that's what I'm trying to teach. So for your coaching business, if you know the machine behind, this is really, really, really powerful. The structure of it, I'd like to showcase you is, for example, you have one ad angle, but you can have 5 ways to show it. So let's say I just took 2 statics that I have in like my ad formatting library. Let's say we have this like note format here, an angle. So why I'm forever grateful to Thijs. So that's like a customer testimonial, right? Then we find another format. So this is another way of showing that. What is the message here? Like, what is the angle? Okay, you're grateful. It's a customer like through. Then can we take this text and put it over to this format? So like a Facebook post where we highlight things. Of course. So then we can take this ad angle and show it in another way. Okay. That is a really, really, really good way to have more creative diversity as well. So what I basically look at is like make each one unique, because lazy iterations won't work. So if you look at it like this, it's basically, if all of your ads look exactly the same headline, one word swap, slightly different colors, and remember, reach 5 near identical creatives as one. So it's basically just like putting one ad in. But what works is if you have a different headline, you have a different design, a different way of showing the same angle every time, just like I showed you here. Okay? That is how you get 5 shots at the auction and not just one. And if you have 5 shots, you have a much higher chance of winning. The order that never really changes and that I just proceed to follow is like first find the message, find the ad angle first. Then you create unique designs. So you need to show that one angle 5 different ways, just that we did here. You can have more formats. I inside my program, I just have like a big folder where I have like hundreds of formats that I just share with my consulting clients. And as well as like, for my done for you agency, we just go into that folder. We look at like, okay, what formats could this message go into? So we find the message, we find the formats, and then only once the angle is working, we want to iterate it, right? We don't want to make new variations on something that doesn't get spent or doesn't get like a positive Roas, because that makes no fucking sense. So why would we do that? And then, you need to stop day trading the ads manager. It's basically the single biggest thing that I see is like people reacting emotionally. So they turn campaigns off and on, they duplicate the moment performance dips, and they switch between ABO and CBO. And it's like the machine's learning. And now that you know, for example, what gem is, and if you look into Andromeda and Metalattice as well, if you look into these layering systems, you can actually know exactly how the machine works in your favor. And the number one thing on having it to work in your favor is stop doing this. What I always just say is like, let it gather data, pick a setup and run it for a long time. What you can do is add more creatives to it that actually, that actually is supposed to be better. So for example, if you tweak it after one day, it's almost always too early. A week is always, or probably too early, depending on spend, of course. And if you can keep running, you have more data, which will give you a longer runtime, which will give you better performance. So it's pretty simple math. People just tend to respond emotionally towards most things here in life. And of course, you should always know your purchase window as well in terms of like tweaking here. Because if you have a short window like gifting, impulse buys, accessories, you can quite fast conclude like, okay, after a week, we've got no buys. Well, okay, then we probably could tweak a few things. But if you're, as most coaches, having a long window, like a big transformation, high effort products, supplements, skincare, wellness, whatever, you have a longer window of purchasing. Actually, I shouldn't even write supplements, skincare, and wellness here. I should write something like, loss or, something that actually have a higher impact, because that's usually what we do for high ticket clients. But you get the point here. It's like the longer or the bigger the investment and the bigger the decision and transformation, the longer the purchase window will always be. So for example, for clients that I have 2 UGC products that I own. We have a purchase window from follower to purchase for 50 days, which is a pretty long time. So every time that I make a new thing I want to test, I need to let it run for 54 days, right? Because it makes sense. That is the purchase window. So I can't conclude shit before that. So that is basically how you should see it as well. It's like, do you have a short window or do you have a long window of purchases? Reading the window here is like 1 to 7 days for a short window. And if you have a long window, you should at least give it 14 plus days. If you know the exact purchase window, just let it run for that. So if you like data as me and track most of things, then you can do it like that. If you don't know your window, you will end up acting too fast. You'll kill good ads before they prove out. You will also kill bad ads before you'll scale them. Brain fuck here. And then you'll read your data wrong because you basically take the emotional decisions and don't operate from a logical standpoint. And GM leans heavily on timing signals. So get the window wrong and you break everything and you try to work against the machine. That is basically what I see most people do. They work against the machine. So a summary here is every meta update forces you to become a better advertiser. Updates aren't there to make your life simpler. They push everyone to make a better push everyone to make better content that users actually interact with. So get better or your performance suffers. I appreciate you watching along. Now, if you want to get more information about ads in general, like also know more about Andromeda and Meta Lattice, I have an ads masterclass where I go over it in 45 minutes, exactly how I do and operate. You can get that on the link below. It is a purchase. And if you want my consultants or want to get into the agency, you can also DM me on Instagram. I'll put a link below. Note that my Done For You agency only takes coaches that are doing plus 20K a month, solely because that you don't react as emotionally and you actually have the financials to do as spent. So I appreciate you watching. If you want to purchase anything from me, look in the description, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.